Definitely two of the most popular civs here for this map with these two teammates.
Yeah, well, they banned out all the DLC civs, so we don't have any of the new civs or Incas, which I guess we're going to have to say now because Incas are actually very different. And yet, while there's no champions, we are going to see this new meta, which has become so common this season. The early barracks from Nicov. He goes for the early barracks with the Wu. You do have a bonus for this, Ornlo. You do get 55 extra food when you complete the early barracks, but it's all about getting some damage early with the militia.
Yeah, I also think that one of the reasons the chompy stuff feels so oppressive is also that the meta is inherently extremely favorable to that style of play in the first place.
Yeah.
And you have like the new civ, which are also inherently aggressive, so like all of that just compounds on top of each other and creates this unfun experience, unfortunately, for a lot of players. That said, very early zebra pushing is essential. First militia on the way for Nicov. You get that extra 55 food, so almost, actually no, over the food cost of a militia now. In my mind, the unit's always going to be 60 food, 20 gold.
Well, the key here, I need to remind this for viewers, this is not easy, okay? Please do not do this. Whatever you're saying, do not try it. I promise you it's going to be a very poor experience. You're going to need the wood for a lumber camp. You're going to need the wood for a mill. You're going to need the wood for houses, and everything's going to fall apart for you. So it is high risk. Nicov will also have to move forward before scouting a lot of his resources, but the idea here, kill villagers on the early wood line. And in that series we covered before, there was this exact build, and Mihai sensed it because he saw the scout, and he got the quick walls down. So that's what it comes down to Sebastian. He doesn't know, just by seeing Wu, that this will happen. The only indicator would be the scout being here very early, and Nicov actually ran away from it. Did you catch that? He ran away from the wood line, so he didn't show the scout. Wow.
Because this is a fixed position map, right? Aren't your TCs always in this exact location for
Pretty
both
much.
players?
Pretty much, yep.
So that is also going to be inherently very good for this sort of early aggression because you just don't have to figure out where your opponent is. You know that they are going to be right in this general area. You need to know where their wood line is because that's what you attack first, and that's exactly what Nicov did with his scouting. And something that I've always been very impressed with Nicov are his builds and his early game execution, like in the Dark Age, early Feudal Age, and that's exactly what we're seeing here.
Yeah, just need to get value from it, right? Because there is an obvious downside behind this to what you're doing. Your militia need to be standing right next to each other so they can get there at the same time. And that scout is now just there to block. If Sebastian can get some early walls down, he already will have the fish in the north. He's a very flexible civ. There's the scout. Nicov is blocking. The militia are here. Sebastian sees it, and can he damage control?
Villagers trying to be all slippery there, going through the scout, but that is not successful, and that will be a dead villager. Scout only taking limited damage there, so I would say that is at least the bare minimum that you need to do, because the threshold to get damage done is so high when your opponent gets a free Japanese fish boom.
Yeah, and that's the thing that Sebastian's recognizing now. Sebastian's like, okay, I got the fishing ship. That's something that he won't have if he goes for this build. The annoying thing is, though, you're pushed off of the wood line. And also, while you can research Loom, that means that you're down a villager from where you would be if you didn't research it. That also means you might need to Vil fight. So there's just a lot going through your mind right now. I think Nicov, it truly does come down to how balanced is this eco going to be now. Because if I try this on this map, it's very likely that I'll be way too late to Feudal Age. If Nicov, though, has his build worked out here, as he actually brings villagers to the south, maybe he could still reach Feudal Age quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this is already really impressive start from Nicov. Sebastian has accrued 25 seconds idle TC time, so that's exactly one villager behind, guys. That house is having a rough go of things.
Oh, and there's 3 militia, and 3 militia with the hill is always going to be dangerous for Sebastian. So Sebastian will have to build another house, or he'll lose this house, or he has to fight it. And I don't know, like, I think Nicov, if he takes that fight, he kills some villagers here. Like, those villagers are pretty weak.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that he'd be trying a bit more aggressively to force that engagement. He's kind of content just to hang out right now, but honestly, he's housing his opponent anyway.
Yeah.
So this is already getting a lot done, and I mean, Sebastian's simply not prepared for just how fast that drush hit him, and I mean, it was basically instant, so you can't really blame him too much for that.
Yeah, now, Nicov, he had to do a couple things here, and he decided, instead of docking the north, which would mean pressuring the Japanese fishing ships, he's going to dock the south, which you don't see a lot in high tides, but it's down there. He'll add some fish. He'll have the villagers. I think Sebastian, as he's still got a headache right now, Sebastian's going to assume that there will be a dock in the north. So scouting there is really critical for him. He's on the way to feudal.
He is, and that's going to be essential because you can keep on adding in these fishing ships. You can see, guys, that the resources collected are still very competitive between the two players, even though the numbers are currently better for Nicov, but Nikov's going to have to click up himself in just a moment. And especially if you can just quick wall in the villagers here on the wood line, which you should be able to do no problem, I think.
Yeah. Well, when you're the Woo and you have these weak militia, if you survive with them, they ends up regenerating once you hit feudal age. So I think if I were Sebastian, I'd be really paranoid. On one hand, you need to defend your fish, but on the other hand, you got to kill these things before they become man-at-arms. I would go lands now. You are Japanese, and your fishing ships will keep yourself safe for a while just because they're so strong. So especially with the new meta now as well and the ability to garrison inside of all docks, the Japanese should be more than fine to hold.
Yep. Hulk is immediately on its way, and Sebastian is scouting with his fishing ship, which you really appreciate. And he scouts the south as well. Look at this scouting team.
That's crazy.
You love to see that.
Dude, I mean, people always forget about the south, right? What Nicov is doing is completely new. I think maybe people should be doing that more, but yeah, now Sebastian's aware of it, and Sebastian will change his strategy here. He's going to bring 2 villagers himself to the south, so we might see a dock from him there too.
Yeah, he cancels his Hulk to the north, so great recognition there. You need every single little bit of resource you have at this point, especially with the early game economic disruption. Barracks coming out here at the front. Likely we'll just try and drop an archery range to go for a couple archers to pick away at the militia. And then that Hulk to the south as well is going to be very quick at killing fishing ships if you were not anticipating it.
Yeah, so Nicov did the sneak, right? I'm wondering if Nicov ever expects that Sebastian will be down here. This is so new that Nicov probably is like, oh yeah, he doesn't know, he'll never know. It's important he finds out. But then Sebastian now thinks he's fine in the north, and Nikov's going to come to the north anyways. And then we also still have the man-at-arms that are going to regenerate. So there's still lots of potential for Nicov.
A lot of potential for both players right now. And the thing is, once you scout a location, you probably are going to think it's going to be safe for quite a while. But unfortunately for Sebastian, the dock came in around 30 seconds after he scouted that area with his fishing ship.
Yeah.
There's a Hulk coming in, and those fishing ships could be in a lot of trouble. Compared to the fire galleys, the Hulks kill the fishing ships a lot faster, but are much more vulnerable to the dock fire.
I hope viewers can feel the level right now. I mean, this is ridiculous. The amount of scouting we've seen, the difference in openings, this is just the dream for Age of Empires fans. And then you have the fact that they're both teammates, the fact that they both know each other so well. This is so nice. It could go either way, but it's been near perfect for both of them considering the circumstances. I think it just comes down to who's going to be the player to surprise the other. And maybe that's Nicov because he's still massing some Hulks in the north.
He's got the one Hulk to the south, but the patrol isn't quite far enough to scout the enemy dock, whereas Sebastian is waiting. Okay, now he sees the enemy dock, so might as well pop out all those Hulks. Meanwhile, on the other side, Nicov has 2 Hulks garrisoned to the north as well, and Sebastian is at this point unaware. Meanwhile, at the base of Sebastian, just kind of a little bit of dancing around with these feudal age units, nothing terribly impactful.
But, I mean, Nicov lost his scout, which is impactful, and Sebastian's scout has been everywhere in this map. I'm wondering if he checks the north. Because if Nicov makes his move in the north right now before Sebastian's ready, Sebastian could lose his fish. But Sebastian makes his move in the south. That's only our 3rd kill of the game. Nicov will drop a 2nd dock in the south. And Nicov can garrison his fishing ships, which should keep him somewhat safe, but the villagers can't garrison in the dock, so they need to get out of here.
No, that would make no sense, guys. If villagers being able to walk into that little hut on the dock, it just really would break the immersion of the AoE 2 gameplay, so glad they never implemented that.
Well, here comes the Hulks, and Sebastian hasn't reacted so far in the north. So I don't think Sebastian will be fishing for much longer, especially if he doesn't notice. It doesn't seem like he's noticing because he's focusing on the man-at-arms, and that's what we've seen so consistently. The chaos of the man-at-arms opening keeps the player so busy. And yeah, Nicov wins water in the north. Well played.
Already 5 dead eco units here for Sebastian. Nicov with a lead of 6 at this point. The men-at-arms are just walking back home, not a care in the world. And this is just really unfortunate here for Sebastian, because his fish are right back out and working. The Hulks can't hang around the docks. They take too much damage. And now it's just going to be a really nice situation for Nicov.
Yeah, back and forth, right? I think even though Nicov has the fishing ship lead, it's just fishing ship on shorefish. and this is high tides where your base is wide open. And when you play like Nicov has played, and you're in so many different locations, you don't wall with a lot of structure, and that's something Sebastian's doing, right? Like, his walls make a lot of sense. His base is going to look pretty good. So I think all I'm trying to say here is Nicov is far from that far ahead. Look at these walls. Like, this is the weirdest walls we've seen, but I guess he does have the tower, and he does have the map control in the middle, and Sebastian can't counterattack just yet.
Yeah, and at this point, look at this. Nicov is adding fishing ships to the north as well. So yeah, the fishing ships on the shorefish not as good, but now you can add the fishing ships to the north on top of that.
Yeah.
And this is really going to help Nicov a ton over time. He's already at least a couple hundred resources ahead, and the onus on Sebastian to do something and get into the maze that is Nikov's base.
You know what's interesting? And maybe the first time we've seen this, Nicov has 2 docks in the south. If you just garrison both of them, they both protect each other with the way the arrows work. So Sebastian has the Hulk lead down there. He's actually has 4 Hulks down there, but he can't trust himself to do anything because of the double arrow fire potential.
Yeah, it's that 1 piercer armor on the Hulks, guys. So you get the 4 base attack on the docks plus 3 anti-ship damage. So the Hulks take a lot of damage there to the docks, whereas the fire galleys not so much. But then, of course, the Hulks just beat the fire galleys, so you're in a tricky spot no matter what.
Nice clear up for Sebastian. Like we said, back and forth, nice clear up. Nicov was always going to lose that army. He essentially ran that way to buy himself some time, but he did misclick once or twice. Just looking at the resources, I could see this being pretty close for Castle Age. Maybe both players will drop the market. But the fishing eco for Nicov, still growing in the north. Another dock going up for him. And at home, he's just playing pretty safe. He's got archers inside the range. The walls aren't your typical high walls for high tides, but I even think that's looking pretty good for him right now.
It's going to be enough to get the job done. Now, you have this nice lead as Nicov, although you're behind in military. What he's going to need to do is find a way to leverage this fish advantage and get a faster Castle Age. And, you know, he is ahead in food right now, but it's going to be a long time before that advantage is really going to come in strong. That said, archers pop out just in the nick of time, and that is going to be a nice move here to keep Sebastian away.
Sebastian is never expecting these walls. Nobody walls like this, right? So he's like, okay, he's moving out. I can just maybe leave my berries, which he's doing now, and then I'm walled. But as he goes to click through, his scouts are pathing awkwardly, and now he's finding Nikov's actually protected. So Nicov feels, obviously being walled, that he can counter, but he wasn't expecting that Sebastian would just straight up leave the berries. So he doesn't find reward. Now the archers are here. I don't know about this, Orlu. This is risky. If Nicov stayed at home, maybe he's okay. I think some quick walls are in order here.
He's going to need those quick walls. The palisade's going to go down extremely fast. There's still that little bit of a hole there to the left. The archers are going to try and deny that, but they just can't quite have the range. And it looks like Nicov is just fine.
That's crazy.
It's quite tricky. And Sebastian himself also totally fine on the other side.
Yeah, Sebastian can just relocate lumber camps, so it's not too big a deal. I think this is still not necessarily fine for Nicov because that army is still knocking on the door. But well played from Nicov, and that is the woo house building bonus at play right there. Your houses build way faster. Without the woo, I think that there would have been a way for Sebastian to get in.
Ha 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 ha. Shoo away with your silly puns. Oh, what are you doing? Sebastian just sends his villagers to their death.
Ooh.
I guess he wanted to go forward, but I mean, you know his army's right there, dude.
Well, he did kill the fishing ships in the south, and he did have to micro his archers away there as well, so... Thank you for the driest laugh I've ever heard in response to one of my jokes, by the way. I think that must be a new record. And I've heard some dry laughs in response.
Hey, game gotta recognize game, man. I approve of that humor.
Oh man, well, it's been the best series, maybe the best game of the day. We'll see about the series, but it's been incredible level from both. Still could go either way. Nicov still has the slight lead. But being faster to Castle Age is almost always going to benefit that player. And I think Sebastian, recognizing the way this is going and getting a lead skirm, if he can kill off these archers from Nicov, suddenly that might be an advantage for him.
Yeah, but in investing so much into the skirmishers, you're just really opening yourself up to the Gen swordsman, which is like the only unit that's good for the win in the mid game, especially. So
yeah, it's true. And the Hawks are actually able to protect here. Well played from Nicov. Army's able to back away. Nikov's Siege Workshop, though, gets denied at 50%. And the rest of Nikov's army is where exactly? His crossbows are...
well, it's the north or
some in the north or at home, yep.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation for both players. Is Sebastian going to come forward again? He tried to earlier, the Vils got wrecked. Now he's just content to hang around here at home and add the extra TCs. So at the moment, both players, they've done a lot of damage to each other. Nikov's in the better spot economically. Sebastian does not feel like he can get enough damage done right now.
The classic thing for Nicov coming in, guys. He is reformed. I think, honestly, the Nicov eco upgrade jokes are like 4 or 5 years old at this point. He's really improved that. I think he once also said that he was literally bullied by viewers into improving that, just like me with my now perfect farms. But great timings on it, right? To get the town centers, to get the farm upgrades, to get the third town center. Nikov's eco, if this game continues like this, is definitely going to be ahead.
It for sure is. Now, the question mark is going to be what army is he going to be making in the medium run? Because you don't have Thumbring for your crossbowmen, whereas... you know, you do for Japanese if that's what you want to go for. Your anti-skirmisher unit is the Qian Swordsman, but you don't really have the infrastructure for that either right now.
Yeah.
So it seems like, okay, you've got a good army right now, but you need to probably get some damage done with it.
Yeah, I guess the most important unit on the field right now for Nicov is probably just the Mangonel, right? Like, both players are on range units. The opponent has skirms, but Sebastian doesn't have the skirms in the numbers and upgrades that he really wants right now. He doesn't have ballistics. He's just not getting his first armor upgrade. I love the confidence from Nicov. Again, there's just... He's a big confidence player, and to me, it just feels like he believes he is the best player here, despite all the hype about Sebastian. And to just walk forward here, stand next to the Siege Workshop as well, when he knows there's going to be Siege, it just proves that confidence.
Well, the flag is there. The cool new flags, by the way, guys. We'll always love that nice little touch. And the micro is essential, but nothing decisive yet. +2 defense is huge for the skirms, guys. It means the crossbowmen only deal 1 damage to them. But like you were saying, T90, everything is about the Mangonels here.
Yeah, and
Nicov has way more of them.
If Sebastian loses this Siege Workshop, this snowballs out of hand very quickly, and it's halfway down. So Nicov is showing patience in a really awkward scenario to show patience. I just saw all that wood disappear for him at home, so I'm not sure exactly what that was. I think that's him queuing Mangonels, actually.
Yeah, he's literally has Mangonels queued up.
I thought it was him adding farms, but he's queuing Mangonels, and Nicov with the attack grounds, and Nicov destroying Sebastian here. He takes down 2 Mangonels. He doesn't lose a single one. And again, once the Siege Workshop is down, what are you supposed to do here in Sebastian's position?
Make a single knight, which is not inspiring a significant amount of confidence. You have a relic in, another Siege Workshop is having to be built, but at the moment, basically Sebastian is just doing what Nicov is doing, but worse.
Yeah.
Eco is worse. He didn't have the fishing eco to help bolster that. He couldn't get anything done in early Castle Age, and he's making skirmishers without a whole lot of offensive potential.
Yeah, and Nicov will have no shortage of siege around the map too, so Sebastian has to try something different. He'll try for the counterattack. That gets tracked by the Mangonel. Maybe with some good micro, he can get the snipe, or maybe he can get a knight over there to get the snipe. He isn't taking any critical damage right now. Losing the market's kind of brutal, but he isn't losing his archery ranges. He isn't losing his town centers yet. And he does have another Siege Workshop in the back of his base.
That's something. And Nikov's eco balance is not great. He has so many bills on wood. Thankfully, he's just adding in a few more farms right now, but the 38, 17, 11, 3 combo is not ideal. Usually you want way more on food or gold than that. So the resources are going to come in faster, but not exactly in the way that you need. And Sebastian, he's having time bought. So at the very least, he's not actively dying.
Yeah. I will say, if Sebastian could land the perfect Mangonel shot, it would actually be on the crossbows on the front. Because if those crossbows aren't there, all the siege goes down to his knights. And Nicov doesn't know the stable's there either. Actually, he does. He does know the 1 stable's there. He doesn't know it's 2 stables, though, which is a pretty big commitment.
It is, but you don't really have the blacksmith upgrades at the moment that you'd really want to be able to absorb arrow fire. So the knights can't really charge in unless those crossbow numbers are thinned out, which is of course why you say those mangonel hits are extra important. It seems like Sebastian's also very interested in a counterattack here, but I just don't see the hole in the defenses here for Nicov, who also now has a ton of villagers on stone.
Well, I mean, if you attack the walls and start harassing wood lines, then Nicov gets his attention taken away from the push. Like, that tower from Nicov is solely because he does not want to have to put his attention into defending that wood line. He wants to micro the front, he wants to hold the middle, and Ornlu, he's got 26 on stone. So, clearly the plan is castle drop. It's definitely been an aggressive game from Nicov. The balance has not been the best, but maybe that's fine because his micro is just that good.
And sometimes that is all that matters. The mangonel has been spotted out, and so it is going to be taking some damage there from the knights and going to go down before getting a big hit on. Please, but don't make me wrong there, Sebastian. There we go. But yeah, Castle going to be coming forward, and that's going to open up Nicov to make literally the best unit in Age of Empires 2, the Fire Archer. It's good against everything that doesn't deal damage.
Well, if you couldn't pick up on the obvious sarcasm from Orlu, there's some questions of whether or not the Fire Archer is good. Here come units. I imagine it's going to be villagers leaving the stone. And Nicov, I mean, it still doesn't know how many knights are going to flood. But I think he has enough crossbowmen to deal with those knights if the knights were to come forward. Losing the blacksmith there hurts Sebastian so much. He had to rebuild one. He still doesn't have +2 armor.
Yeah, he can afford it right now, but that's another 60 seconds.
Oh.
Now, he doesn't actually know, though, but there aren't any monks here, though. Uh-oh, this could be huge, T90.
There was a counterattack. There was a counterattack, and Nicov was never expecting this. He did have the outpost there to see it, but clearly this does not go as planned. He will lose all of his siege. In the end, I think it's okay as long as the castle completes. He did defend from the counterattack, but nervous times for Nicov. Sebastian giving himself a chance, but that castle just makes it so difficult to ever push back the middle of the map from Nicov.
Yeah, I love the outpost as well from Nicov, so you can see the units coming in a little bit better. Chain barding armor is now in, of course, as most of the knights are already dead. And it's like, where do you even go at this point as Sebastian? Nicov is going to be able to apply a ton of pressure from the front of your base.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a great villager count. Like, what can you do?
You have to loop to the north. You have to go to the north where Nicov already has vision, already has outpost, but go there. Or you loop down to the south. But that castle is just so perfect because it makes... that and the outpost is so perfect from Nicov because there should be no surprises. You also could go full knights and rams here. If you mass rams and go 3 stable knights, you could maybe push the castle. That's the other alternative. But I agree. Nikov's just had an amazing start. He's reminding everyone how long he's been around, how aggressive a player he is. And so far, he's proving people who said that he was going to lose the series wrong.
Now, what I do find interesting is, like we mentioned earlier, the eco balance hasn't been great from Nicov, so he's only slightly ahead in resources, and his lead is in wood and stone, which is not really the most impactful thing in the world. So if you look at Sebastian's res, his actual eco efficiency has been quite solid.
As advertised, right? Nicov gets the kills. Nicov, you could tell, very intense, very important moment. But Nicov, he gets ahead because he has no chill. And he falls behind because he has no chill. He needs to just add his farms, play the macro game, and play towards imp right now. Otherwise, Sebastian, on the way up, maybe he can get to Trebs or Rams.
Yeah, I think the sliding scale between pro players is the doubt to Nicov scale. From wild, like, okay, we're going aggressive, we're going to make all of this happen, versus the chill, okay, we'll just defend, boom up, make smart moves.
Honestly, I think Doubt kind of has no chill. I think maybe the most relaxed high-level player would be like, is that Yo? Or like...
Is it Yo?
Maybe Vinch? Maybe viewers can give input. Like, some players, it's frustrating just how little they react to pressure at times.
Yeah, it's like why the webcams on the players is like really funny half the time because something crazy happens and they're just like completely unmoved.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about someone who doesn't get broken if they get pressure. That's not what that is. I'm talking about someone who like, because I don't think like Hera or Viper or anyone would be at the top as far as that's concerned. But like, definitely, you're right. Like Doubt, Yo. And in this case, Sebastian, I mean, he lost the front of his base. He got completely pressured. And what is this economy, man? Like, how is this still possibly a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I think, it's both things, right? It's Sebastian's eco management being very good and Nikov's being a little bit suboptimal, but part of that is the attacking from Sebastian here that is creating those openings. If Sebastian wasn't constantly counterattacking, Nikov's eco would still be of, more or less perfect efficiency, and right now, Sebastian's going to be hitting Imperial Age without a castle, which is still kind of awkward.
Yeah, I gotta say, I would have preferred he buy this a little bit earlier. He's been on the way to Imp for a really long time. He's had that gold for a really long time. He will drop the castle, but it's not like he immediately gains Imp advantages. And what he wants is he wants those skirms to be upgraded. And right now in the north, we have some Jean swordsmen chasing them back a little bit. So I think Nikov's still completely fine. He does get traction trebs. He does have 145 vills, but this is still the time for Nicov. Like, can he find the chill? Can he relax? And also, can he trust the fire archer to actually be the unit to carry him to victory here?
No.
Okay, so you think the unit's just not worth it?
Except in the one situation where it's like Castle War v Castle War and you're a little too far away to petard. Then fire archers are awesome. Every other situation, they're underwhelming. Qian Swordsman, guys, it's such an annoying unit because it's insane in early Castle Age, which is why it's gotten nerfed a bunch. It is awful in Imperial Age. They're expensive, and their stats are not very impressive whatsoever.
So Nicov, so what you're saying is Nicov is hard committing to the two units that you think are awful here.
Well, to be fair, I don't think there's really anything that's that great for Wu at this point.
Well, what you could do, genuinely, with 45 on food, is you could play Hussar with this Civ. That's not a problem.
Yes, you can.
Against Japanese, that's maybe a concern, but I like that because it only costs food, and it isn't a waste if you lose your army, unlike everything else. And you can play champions too. You could play like skirms, champions, and hussars, and just traction trebs. But so far, Nicov content to hold the map control. He drops another castle here as he's about to hit Imp, and the Jean swordsman will probably chase back these skirms. But I don't like that castle. I think Nicov should back up a little bit. He needs to just place more defensive castles. Sebastian's going to push him. Maybe don't give him a free castle here.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, but the Sebastian's own castle is not exactly happening because the mangonels are in a very good position.
Ooh.
And he gets the kill.
Yeah, good shots. Nikov's mangonel micro has been on point, except for that one moment where he lost 5 of them. And he's getting his blacksmith upgrades. He can immediately make traction trebs. And that's actually the one thing from Wu that I think is insanely strong. Their unique tech. You get the additional projectiles with Sitting Tiger for your traction trebs. Classic Nicov eco, though. He had like 60 on wood before. Now he's got 7 on wood, right? So he's overcorrected. But the traction treb here to save the day, and the trebuchet for Sebastian will have to pack up and get out of here.
Yeah, but what I love here from Sebastian is if he just switches into Japanese champions, I feel like that is going to be so difficult to stop. The traction trebs aren't as good at poking down the individually weak units of the champions, and none of the actual units can really stand up in hand-to-hand combat, guys. Remember, Qian swordsmen are shock infantry, so they take a ton of extra bonus damage from swordsmen.
But if Nicov just camps the stones and holds, if he keeps Sebastian off the stone on the left, he's already denying that stone in the front. I don't see how Sebastian can win this repair war. Like
that is very true.
That's the thing, and Nicov recognizes that. He's bringing the army over. So Nicov should just sink all that stone into repairs. I guess I say that, and Nikov's not mining stone. Oh my god, what a game. I don't even know where his stone is right now. There is a stone in the south. But Jean Swordsman diving.
Swordsman trying to run in here.
Can they make it through? The defense is there so far for Sebastian.
Yeah.
He is out of stone to repair, though, and that's quite a few traction trebs, and the Jean Swordsmen are going to run around. And there's not enough army. He's not even on champion yet. He's on man-at-arms. Yeah. Well played from Nicov.
This is where the eco advantage is just a little too significant here for Nicov. He is at max pop. Sebastian's still at 173. He's actually getting housed due to the castle going down. And this is going to be starting to get extremely messy for him. And Nicov just a little too good with the map control and the map presence. And right now it's just Sebastian just floundering, trying to figure out some way to stop this.
And Nikov's getting Elite Fire Archer. There we go. Would still like to see him get both unique techs. They both apply to the units he's making, but with no castles in the back for Sebastian, he could be raided by the Jean Swordsman. Nicov, just an amazing level here. It truly has been. The opening was so good. The follow-up in Feudal Age, the dock in the south, the dock in the north. How often do you see Sebastian or anyone playing as the Japanese on a hybrid map just be surprised the whole game? He did just lose his mining camp where he has 23 villagers wanting to take that stone. But he does have John Swordsman on the left still. He's got the traction trebs taking down the barracks on the front, which is still good value because Sebastian needs that to recover. And also there's the unique tech we've been talking about, Sitting Tiger.
Can we just point out the fact that literally log swordsmen were beating the Imperial HDN swordsmen?
Yeah, Nicov needs his own champion upgrade, 100%.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
but
so
he's got the time. In the end, I think his castle positions are just so tough to break, especially since he always has his traction trebs nearby, that he has plenty of time to balance out his eco and get to champions. And he's still killing villagers in the back as well, Orlu.
he's making things super messy for Sebastian. Almost 50 villagers killed this game by Nicov. Still 6k resources ahead. Now, what I have loved from Sebastian in T90, look at his treb count.
Yeah.
He didn't lose his trebs.
Yeah, true.
And so he can pop those castles down pretty darn fast. He does have Kata Peruto as well.
But does he have enough? I guess maybe he does. Yeah, he's got 6 of them. They unpack almost immediately. The traction trebs will immediately fire. Nicov will try and repair, but he doesn't have the stone. So he's likely to lose at least 1 castle. But I don't know, man. Now Sebastian has run out of golds, which is another problem. And Nicov does have two-handed swordsman here, which is probably enough to hold. Because Sebastian's only on two-handed swordsman himself.
It seems like one of those situations where it's very close, but you just don't quite have enough at that point. Nicov also took the Gold Island to the north, and that is going to be game number 1, going to our Argentinian player, and it's still a very fun and close game.
Yeah. I mean, that was a reminder right there of why Nicov was top 4 in the previous season of TTL. That's Nicov right there. That was ridiculous. Their APMs were through the roof. Like, look at what they peaked at. And look at their average. Their speed is sky high. Some of the fastest play we've seen. And it was obvious the whole way through. Would expect a bounce back from Sebastian. But if Nicov can find more of that, if he can set the pace of the game, there's not many players better.
Yeah, and I think that's just... You know, Nicov is not a perfect AoE 2 player. But when Nicov can play to his strengths and use those early, aggressive, smart, sharp builds... then he can disrupt his opponent's game plan and then really play to those strengths, keep the pressure up, and then get the win in the really impressive way he just did right there.
Yeah, and I mean, I obviously mentioned that Nicov has really improved with his eco upgrades, but like, that was perfect with upgrades, right? Like, every single upgrade, the unique techs, both of them came in. The eco techs, 2-man Saul came in, which is kind of rare. Handcart was, I mean... The only upgrade he was missing was Champion and Blast Furnace, but I'm sure that would have been the next thing in queue. It's not 2006, it's 2026, but we've got the 2006 matchup. Goths for Sebastian, Mayans for Nicov. What's the logic with going Goths here, you think, Orlu? Did just full-on predicting Mayans, or are there other reasons?
I do think he was predicting Mayans. I think it was the most obvious pick for Nicov in terms of if he could play on this map. And beyond the thought that, okay, Goths are good against Mayans, I mean, yes, that is certainly a very important part of the reason he picked it. But on this map in particular, Goths are also super good because you have the hunting bonus and you are one of the best drush civs. So those two things together on a map with a lot of hunt in the middle where you want to go aggressive is going to be an excellent playground here for the Goths for Sebastian.
Yeah, and I guess Loom researching instantly isn't bad when there's been units in your base 4 minutes into every game, right? So if that's what's common, if you're expecting the early lames, that upgrade's not too bad either. Nikov's come forward. We've had some generations where the boars have been crazy forward, and that is not going to be the case here. Sebastian brought in his most forward boar. The other boar is on the back. And I see a villager heading to the south, like it's sneaking right now. So maybe the plan for Sebastian is to go for a play we would see a couple years ago and just get a villager into the opponent's base and try and lame.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, Nicov himself very much tried to go for the lame, guys. He sent the eagle forward basically immediately. Now, he will find the further away boar, but does he actually want to go for it? kind of hanging
Probably
around with the
not.
eagle, but against Goths who have loom already, maybe trying to lame that villager isn't going to be as effective.
But both players understand. They both brought in their boar right away, and they brought it in earlier than you would typically. Sebastian's trying to bring the next one, and Nicov is blocking and making this as difficult and as annoying as possible. But the villager, though, is walking around, and I think Nicov should see this. Hello, just passing. Hello. Okay, Nicov spots it.
But my question is, you're against Mayans. They get loom instantly.
Well,
right?
I think initially he wanted to find the boar, wall in his villager, and kill the boar. Now he sees the boar, and Nikov's there, and Nicov is going to take the boar. Sebastian was actually going to steal that thing. Now you're committed. We did have a meta for a while where the Goths player would go forward barracks. So maybe that's what Sebastian tries to do now, or I don't know.
It's certainly possible. That said, Nicov is not messing around. He just has this villager following the other villager, so you can at least feel comfortable knowing, okay, yeah, I'm down a villager, but so are you.
Yeah.
That said, the scout is still here at full HP for our blue player, and Nicov is going to have to bring the eagle on home.
Yep.
So now we're back to only 2 civs with eagle warriors.
Did Nicov scout the chickens in the middle? Okay, so these chickens and the hares, if you had scouted the region where they die, you could tell in the fog of war that they're being eaten. And now Nicov brings another villager. Now he wants to kill this vill. They've both been trying to block with their scouts. Nikov's eagle can regenerate inside the TC if he wants. He could heal up a little bit. Nicov misclicked the scout, which becomes really important here. He has to save the
it's
eagle.
Still 2 hits, though. Okay, yeah, smart move there from Sebastian to pull back when he did.
Dude, the amount of activity in this series has been ridiculous. Like, we're 6 minutes in. We've had lame attempts. We've had sneaks. And now Sebastian's not done yet. He's going back, even with the weak villager.
You just gotta love it, right? These guys are not holding anything back at the moment. Sebastian just here in the middle of the map. He's going to try and block with his scout cavalry. He knows his opponent's eagle scout is very low HP, so Nicov had to send more vills forward as well. Both of these civs are ones that don't mind hanging around at the Dark Age. They're 2 top-tier Dark Age civilizations with the strong early ecos, but no barracks yet.
I mean, and of course it's 0-0 on the KD, right? It has to be for these two. But again, critically, as Nicov is sneaking villagers to take the food down there.
Oh.
Critically, the hunt is still going on. The food income is there for Sebastian, which Nicov doesn't know. Wow. That's
just now. Oh, okay. Wow. Feudal Age coming in. 22 pop here for Sebastian. Okay, it's the Age of Kings Civ clicking up on 22 pop on the open map. Again, what year is this?
What year is it? Yeah. What year is it? Crazy. But just thinking about it, it hasn't been this super smooth eco for the Mayan player. The food saturation is looking way better for Sebastian right now. And with all this food income to fund the infantry, that feels pretty damn good for the Goths. So I know that the Mayans have their bonuses. The resources last longer, but what resources last longer? Because you're almost out of food underneath the TC. The 3 sneak villagers are playing their role, but even that is just nothing compared to Sebastian's food income.
Yeah, I mean, when we have maps that have like a lot of shorefish in the middle or around the outside, like what was it, Monocle, that has all the shorefish, that's where we really see the player who just throws more villagers on the food source in the middle usually wins, especially if it goes infantry v infantry. So although Valley isn't that extreme, that sort of similar logic applies where you have a lot of food income and that can turn into a lot of infantry.
It just, so much of this game depends on if they find each other here. Because if Sebastian wants to expand more to the north for the long-term chickens and hares, he can. But if he chooses to commit more towards the south, he will eventually run into Nikov's vills. And those 3 vills for Nicov are key. He's got cheap archers, so he's just kind of hoping he doesn't get spotted there. He's walling up the back, which I think he should have time to do. Needs to do it quickly. Nicov needs to do it very quickly. Nicov needs to do it now. Nicov needs to do it yesterday. Nicov forgot about it. That's bad.
Oh, no.
That's really bad. But he could...
He had all the time he needed.
Oh, man. And now Sebastian can block. And, oh, man, I mean, that changes everything. That's 3 palisades away from being secured here. And, oh, Sebastian can get the block and kill the Vil too. Ah, that's still fine. Lovely start for Sebastian.
Jeez. Oh, man. I mean, losing the scout's unfortunate, but you got that villager kill. That's the most important thing. Archers are on the way here for Nicov. We do already have forward skirmishers coming in for Sebastian, though, so he is still able to apply that pressure. Now, remember, guys, Goths don't get arson. They essentially get half arson for free in Feudal Age, so it's not as good as some Civ, though the trap is unsuccessful, but it is still a little bit of extra damage now.
That's so funny that Nicov had the audacity to try that. He almost got the trap. But it entered my mind, and I'm sure it entered Sebastian's mind when he saw the angles there that it could happen.
Yeah.
I think both of these two have already been trapped too many times from Viper to ever let that happen.
Yeah, you're that's a little too common these days to take that loss like that. But actually, a random villager to the north is under a lot of pressure from a men-at-arms, so you gotta be careful there. You really don't want to bleed Vils at this point, and right now... Okay, never mind. AoE is silly.
Yeah, Nicov gets a quick wall, and now he goes back for the trap again, and now Sebastian micros again. Dude, I'm getting dizzy right now. I don't even know what to say. It's just nonstop pressure, and still there hasn't been significant damage, but behind it, does damage even matter? As we see Nicov go for more quick walls and more traps. I don't know if that helped him or hurt him, but it's all Sebastian right now, and he's still got the food, and he is super close to Nikov's villagers on the left side, too.
Oh, he is getting close, and like you were saying, he is just choosing to go towards the southwest instead of the northeast, which means he will run into those Vils eventually, and those Vils are essential for Nikov's food income right now because he doesn't have the forage bushes because Sebastian is just here applying so much pressure. The gold mining villagers are in a really rough spot too, and we are looking at 8 swordsmen T90. That is not a messing around number.
I mean, when we created the map, we wanted to add incentive for the food and the resources in the middle. Some players have done very little commitment to that. They don't choose to take the risk. Sebastian is taking the risk, and he has 9 man-at-arms and counting at the moment, with skirmishers that also get fletching. You would just never see this without that food income.
Yeah, but that's just the strength of not only going for the food in the middle, but really committing to doing so. I mean, he sent 10 villagers over. That's around a third of his eco.
Yeah.
And that food income is essentially making 2 food units, and you need to get the blacksmith upgrades. That's really expensive to maintain. Does lose a few swordsmen there to the northeast, but snipes the mining camp, delays the gold income, and get those archer numbers really difficult to actually grow in the way they need to.
Okay, I was just about to ask you, what does Nicov do to come back into this game? He needs it. He needs a counterattack, and he needs it now. He spotted, at least I believe he spotted some of the hunt in the middle. If you go there, though, your opponent likely has the production there. Sebastian's a little paranoid because he's not seeing any of the archers. He's bringing skirmers back home. He's wondering and he's waiting. But Nicov is doing the right thing here. Avoid the middle, because that's where Sebastian will defend, and go to the rest of the eco.
It's tricky, though. We're at 20-9 military right now in favor of Sebastian. These archers and eagles will show up, and they could easily get, 2 to 3 villager kills.
Wow.
But it doesn't change the fundamental dynamics that Sebastian has a lot of army, and these swordsmen are basically mini siege weapons for the feudal age.
The game sense, though. He left his berries. He researched Town Watch so he could get the vision.
Yeah.
Like, the game sense from Sebastian to just be locked in enough to know what's coming is ridiculous. And then also, to continuously apply pressure to Nicov. Nicov, I still think, has the right idea. Get to stone, build some defensive towers against this. But I don't think he can accept his counterattack doing nothing right now. And so far, it kind of feels like Sebastian's going to lock it down.
It sure does. The skirmishers are here back at home. They have +1 defense, which is essential against those archers. They only take 1 damage a hit now. And it's just so messy here at the base of Nicov. And he just taps out. And
Whew.
I don't even think it's that early.
Yeah, no, it's probably not that early, right? Nothing is trending Nikov's way. This gate is going to go down. The units are going to be in. Sebastian will always make more units. Sebastian has the defense for those archers and those eagles. He's got his berries. He's got his food in the middle. He's got the farms. He's got his blacksmith upgrades. Like, talk about a response. Just perfect.
That was one of the most intense games with 8 total kills.
Now, here's a question. Like, what did Nicov do wrong here? I feel like the way early feudal looked, there's logic to wanting to open archers, but pretty clearly opening archers isn't enough when your opponent has the food. So should he have gone Drush, you think? Or is that too easy to say after the fact?
I think the issue is that you let your opponent freely take from the middle. And we've seen players fall behind in the short run when they send all those vills towards the middle. But because Sebastian was always the one applying pressure, that this food income just never got disrupted. And I mean, if you look at the ending resources, it was what, almost 1,000 more food collected in this game for Sebastian. Like, yeah, I get he was making food units, but still, that just doesn't feel like something that you can allow it to happen.
I also think that actually the biggest mistake was he didn't have that wall in the back. I think if those man-at-arms are all along the front of his base, it's a very different scenario. I'm not sure exactly what was happening there, to be honest, but Nicov will feel like that was its number one mistake.
Yes, for sure.
But I mean, it's a cool map, right? Because typically going man-at-arms and skirms and upgrades is way too food intensive because you're just on farms and a little bit of berries at that point of the game, not on that map. So maybe we'll start to see people trend in this direction over time. Pick Dravidians, pick Japanese, and pick like super like infantry-oriented civs.
Here we are on the rarely seen Northern Crossings for the Decider. And remember, guys, this series between these two players is super important for their group standing.
Yeah, so at the moment, I think live standings for Sebastian, he should be at 6 wins. And for Nicov, it is at 4 wins. So Nicov wins. He's 1 win behind Sebastian. I think that puts him 2 wins behind ACCM. It's realistic for Nicov to be in that top 3 conversation. He loses this. Nikov's more so in the can he survive? Will he avoid relegation combo? So big win. There's also the $30 on the line, but with the 64K total prize pool, the placement prizes and the playoffs is what both players will want. And we've got Northern Crossings where there's a lot going on. You start with the transport. I think Sebastian's already stolen a sheep with his transport. And yeah, you got the land and the water to think about, Orlu.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Northern Isles, but with the shallows to the north and south, and also critically, you're not on the high ground for the most part on your island. You just have that area around the TC.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it's basically the same, but those were, of course, 2 perfectly fine changes. And let's see what these guys have in store, because these are both very good water civs.
Nicov misclicked. I think something weird happened there. He was pushing in his Ibex, and then I think he tried to push in again, but he clicked his boar instead. Like, that definitely wasn't intentional. He was pushing his Ibex and then clicked his boar. I guess it's fine, but his scout is weak now, so.
Yeah. I mean, way back in the day when players would play on islands, you'd always lure in your boar with your scout because it was otherwise useless. But
yeah,
we are long gone from that meta.
Yeah, Ibex is kind of trolling him as well, and Ibex is going back. I'm curious to see how Sebastian plays this. Because, well, curious to see how both play this. But what I feel is the best way to play if you're Nicov, especially after the first game, is to try and make it messy through some type of infantry opening. And the Bengalis, they have more passive bonuses. Like, you get the additional vills when you make it to feudal age. Your army gets really strong when you get to castle age. But feudal age, it's like not really a great infantry civ. I guess it's an okay archer civ. So I just feel like the Armenians have the potential to set the tone.
Yeah, they really do. They're the much more aggressive civ, as you're saying. Your bonuses are more front-loaded. You get immediate wood savings and food savings on the mule carts. You can go for feudal age long swordsmen if you really want to apply a ton of pressure to buildings. Your galley rush is also superior with the, I guess, extra damage.
Yeah.
So
now,
I'm curious to see what direction this game is going to be taken, because it feels like the ball is in Nikov's court.
Well, then there's the other part of it, too. It's like, if Sebastian is so good at defending, maybe Nicov just plays passive. You just go back and forth in your mind. I feel like maybe the man-at-arms upgrade is too risky in his mind. And if it is going to go late game and you're both so good, maybe it becomes just, as it was initially designed, it becomes almost a full water map. I don't know. But the dock positions are part of that. Nicov is scouted with his transport ship. He didn't find the dock in the back, so he will probably check the front now. He had the better timing, in my opinion, because Sebastian actually scouted the back so early that he missed the dock, and then he scouted the front and then also missed a dock, so he doesn't really know.
Yeah, Nicov will just now see that forward dock. Interesting that it's the forward dock from the Bengalis player and the back dock from the Armenians. In my mind, you'd think that would be swapped. but
Yeah.
Nicov himself could actually just... Could he try and FC this? He's got 2 more vills and then Loom queued up. And Armenians have a pretty good fast castle.
Yeah, I don't mind fast castle into a couple warrior priests, because warrior priests can pick up the relics very quickly, and if you're under any feudal age pressure, you can quickly drop down a church, and they can clear up a couple archers pretty easily too. So it's risky. It's Nikov's home map, so whatever it is, I think it's going to make sense for him. But as I see the barracks, it's maybe just a very late feudal age approach.
It doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, he screwed up and his feudal age is late relative to what it could be, because like we saw in Migration that, okay, if you just go for a few more fishing ships and click up a little bit later, your eco is going to be better than the opponent who goes a little bit more aggressive, even if neither of you are technically going for an FC, and I think that could be exactly what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and when your units are when your units cost food, you need that extra economy. Dude, I think it's so funny. I forget what tournament it was, but somebody had a sheep permanently in their transport. And then the opponent sees that, and then they get really confused. They think it's man-at-arms or villagers. Like watch. Watch, Nicov will see the flag, and Nicov might be like, well, hold up a second. What's he going to do? Like I forget what game it was, but somebody ended up building all types of outposts in the back of their base. They were all extremely paranoid just because there was a sheep in the transport.
I mean, that sheep, it raises the flag of defiance right there on
Yeah,
the transport ship.
Whose job is it to raise the flags in these ships? Because there's no captain, clearly.
No, they're self-propelled ships.
Yeah. I guess it's the sheep. All right. Well, there goes the flag for Nicov. I agree with you. I really like the new flags. Thank you to the devs for adding so many of them. It's on the buildings as well, which is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Sebastian
there's
sees
the
it.
second dock at the back. So it's double dock plus men-at-arm. So definitely going for a lot of, land and water pressure.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, I think both players have a pretty decent read on the situation. Sebastian goes for the tower in perfect time to defend. And Sebastian, with his transport ship, knows where the dock is in the back, so he's sending hawks around. Nicov, though, is... You never know. The man-at-arms are probably going to get some value against some buildings at some point. And he's going double dock against the Hawks. And with our new water balance, galleys should be very good against the Hawks.
I like the optimism.
So you're not
I
sure yet?
The Hulk's losing one of their base attack. I think that's... Versus the galleys, that is a big difference maker. So I think that's totally fine. But look at this. Long Swordsman is coming in. I wasn't sure if that would be something that Nicov would determine is worth investing in, but he is saying yes, it is.
A transport ship is going to be a goner here, which is actually fine for Nicov because he was about to get pop capped. So no problem. And he knows the Hawks are coming around, but typically it's very difficult for the galley player to micro land and water. It's normally the other way around. Normally, the player who's going for the man-at-arms is going for fires or is going for Hawks in this case. But I think Nicov just needs to be safe here. Back up, garrison your docks, and you're fine. You have the arrow fire, and you should be completely fine against this. The Hawks should not be able to push 2 docks, in my opinion, though. It's still new balance.
Yeah, we're still all learning here, guys, but indeed... The basic logic of the Hulks simply cannot hang around the docks is going to stand, especially since the 2 docks can sort of cover each other with arrows, and it's going to allow you both the space and time to build up this galley mass, which I think is also equally as important.
Do we have a water triangle? Do we actually have a water triangle? Because upon seeing the galleys, we now have Sebastian making fires, which are much better against galleys with the new balance. Folks, we are seeing 3 different naval choices in Feudal Age in AoE 2. Maybe even a 4th if there's a demo out there.
That's true, and now there's a Hulk coming in here for Nicov, so they are going to be dancing around that water tech tree a little bit. I do think that the water balance generally works out better on these more like full water maps like Northern Crossings as opposed to a map like High Tides where the docks are right next to each other.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
This is likely, I think, where what the devs intended, I think, is more likely to take place.
I mean, well played to Sebastian right now to have not received any real damage from the longswords. Just the base structure is all way easier said than done. He's made it look easy, but I don't think that he will have any success on water anymore. if he's going with the Hawks. The fires are going to have to make a difference, and I'm excited to see this because this will be the first for me that we've seen a combination of Hawks and fires against galleys and feudal since the new change.
Yeah, at least since Socracy Cup, and of course, there have been a few changes since then. Hulk now going to be going after the fire ship. You can see just how effective that is. And
the Hawk
as things stand.
So it's supposed to be Hawk versus fire, fire versus galley. So Nicov, understanding there's going to be fires, now mixes in the Hawks. But the numbers are going to be an issue there for Nicov. He needs to back up. He tosses away his ship. And Sebastian saves his ship. And also is fleeing in the north. There's still the longswords, always there. Always attacking houses. Always applying some pressure. And Sebastian's building up archers.
He is. And I was going to say neither player looks especially close to Castle Age. And yet, we just had Nicov sell his stone. There was a defensive tower for Sebastian, so he cannot do that. That said, overall resources still a little bit better for Nicov since he had more fishing ships in the first place.
And Nicov decides to bring all of his galleys that he was chasing with back home. Remember, Sebastian's ships slowly regenerate with this civ, so I feel like it's good for Sebastian. He hasn't actually lost a lot of his navy. I'm wondering if Sebastian will just transport the archers through the middle right now, Orlu. He hasn't shown them against the longswords. He's actually scouting with the sheep that he stole earlier. He is scouting with the sheep to see if Nicov is open for that. That is insane.
Oh. If that's what he's doing, that is like absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Now we have the archers coming forward. Now there are only 3 of them, and they don't have fletching, so it's not like it's crazy, but
but he knows
that's wild.
He knows there's a gap now that he can run through, yeah. And Nikov's like, "Oh look, a free sheep. Let me eat that." But if that's not walled, it could be problematic. But there's the fight on water, though. Not one that I can really read well. There's only 3 galleys behind. I still feel like the galleys have done good things for Nicov. But I wish he had all of his galleys here. His other galleys are in the north at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, galleys are still fundamentally water cap archers, right? They still need to be massed together. They're not that great when you just have one of them shooting. It's more about just building up that damage exponentially with everyone shooting at once over time. So, yeah, you're going to want your navy together here.
Archers are such a big play. So many people would have used the archers against the longsword, but Sebastian actually walks around with the archers and gets into the wood line. And Nicov will try and quick wall them. If he can kill them with the villagers, it's an insane swing.
Oh, does not get that last wall segment down. How about this? You need 3 tiles of closure, I think.
I think he's got him trapped though. I think he can kill them. He can't run. Sebastian can't run around. And now Sebastian's transport ship could be found by Nikov's navy, which is all meeting up. Nikov's on the way to Castle Age faster. What a great job from Nicov to almost clear up the archers.
And it means just 1 archer left at this point. It's not that big of a deal. And with Castle Age, I mean, it feels like this game can still go in any number of directions. Good fight here at the front for Nicov. Sebastian has some of his own ships a little out of position. Sebastian, though, a lot of Hulks incoming. Castle Age is still on the way for him. And I mean, I think Nicov has a slight lead at this point, but it still feels like it's anyone's game.
Well, I think a lot of this just comes down to which boats are better, right? And so we still don't really know. I think based on the way the game is supposed to be balanced now, Nikov's navy should be superior in an out-and-out engagement because of the galleys. Especially because galleys outrange the docks and the arrow fire. That's always really nice. But yeah, the part about Nikov's play that still always worries me is it's still a very fragile economy. And when he's being poked like this with random archers and there will be random Hulks everywhere, it's just a very tough game to know where to be. And it's very easy to just misclick a navy in this case.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to babysit absolutely everything. We have medium warships. The new upgrade, guys, it affects every single unit. It's basically the same as War Galley, but just named more coherently, as I'm sure T90's very happy about. So there we go. That was the main thing I wanted. I hated that War Galley upgraded a bunch of different ships. There was no Hulks in my request, but so far I've been... so far, like I said, the galleys being good against Hulks has seemed to be the case, and that is the medium warships upgrade, which means it will be denied for Sebastian. And that's just way too many ships right there, and that dock is going to go down. Okay, I think it was canceled, and he realizes he has to get that in another dock. University coming in, interestingly, here. Now, remember, you get Navy upgrades at the University now, so what is it? Oh, yeah, the fishing ships as well.
Yeah, the fishing ships from from Nicov going down to Sebastian is a huge find. Now Nicov doesn't have the food benefit of having water control, and Nicov still only has 2 farms with archers running around his base, so it could be really stressful times for Nicov economically.
Yeah, we have careening coming in with its brand new icon. And so that's actually 1 extra Pierce armor for all of your ships. It does matter against the war galleys. It does not matter against either the hulks or the fire ships, which now just deal melee damage.
I'm so glad that you're here to point out the practical use of these technologies for the water. I'm really excited to cast Lowy the Legends because Lowy the Legends oftentimes research university techs, and now they've added like a bunch of useless land technologies into the university. So still not sure how I feel about that, to be honest, but it is there, and it's to make the dock a little simpler. Both players are just kind of doing the equivalent of base trading, only they're trading position on water at the moment. Nicov is losing his back docks, and then Sebastian is starting to lose his back docks as well.
Yeah, it seems like the fishing is going to be kind of moot for both players. Both are on 2 TCs. Now, Nicov already has 3 relics. Of course, Armenians are very good at picking those up. But it seems like this is actually going to be... I mean, we've casted, what, 5 games together today? This is like the first one that actually feels kind of passive.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's just because we're not able to truly focus on exactly what they are focusing on. The clinker construction one, that is that speed?
Movement speed.
Speed.
Yeah,
okay, and it's 10% boost, right?
Correctus.
Okay. That's interesting because now if you have that upgrade, you're at 1.62. The war galleys are at 1.36 without it, which means Sebastian might have a pretty crazy trap. He's bringing his fires along from the north. He's made a lot of fires down towards the south. I think Nicov, he might get trapped here. Fire ships should be good with the extra armor and with the extra speed. This, from my, again, basic understanding of the new water, this is a full clear for Sebastian incoming.
I think you're right. I mean, I think all of us watching together are about to learn. So it's exciting as we have the main fleet now coming in from both sides. And let's see if we have a big old sandwich here. I mean, it is going to be a sandwich, but is it going to be effective enough? The movement speed and the Pierce armor both going to be very helpful. Yeah, he's being patient with it, too. He waited until he had a few more units. Nicov, I think, understands. But does Nicov know the techs to get the speed to get out of here? I don't think so. On a water map, pretty damn good to win a naval battle like this, and there is no way that Nicov has any chance of surviving here. No, not with this fleet. The speed difference is simply going to be too great. I mean, we're talking like, what, 0.3 difference? But that's Sebastian... like Spearman versus a Conquistador, guys. Yeah, that's but like, I really do think Sebastian just needs to click beyond, right? Get to the other side and then engage, because your ships are bumping into each other. But let's not forget, Nikov's redocking on the front right now. It actually will be spotted by Sebastian's archers. He is going to make more war galleys. I think he should be making hulks, though, right? If he sees some fires... Probably should be hulking it up a little bit. And he still has good relic count. He's got 4 relics, and Armenian Navy only gets stronger from here. It does. They don't have shipwright in late game, which could be very relevant because thankfully they got that tech removed because they already have an insane late game Navy. And now there's a fortified church coming forward. Now remember, guys, this was nerfed very heavily in the most recent patch, so it's not going to be as good as it used to be. That's a tech tree pause. Okay, you're not going to believe me. The next words out of my mouth were going to be, at what point does Nicov pause to double check the university, to double check which new university icon does what, right? Because okay, Sebastian paused. Damn it. Okay, maybe it was a hotkey thing because Sebastian's trying to make war galleys. But Sebastian comes in. I'm just wondering if Nicov knows the techs. He needs some speed here. He needs some tankiness at least. My God, what a fight. This is going to be so one-sided, T90. All of these ships are going to get absolutely torched for Nicov. Now, it's not like it's GG or anything, and he does have that forward fortified church, which is a little annoying, but he simply is not having any luck here with this naval engagement. Well, it's brutal because losing 5 docks on the front feels
just horrible. Like, that's so much wood down the drain, especially if you commit to try and save your docks now. You're just going to commit so much more. It could be 1,000 resource swing.
Well, you could drop a castle.
Yeah, you could drop a castle, but I don't think you're really going to drop the castle in time. And what a great job from Sebastian. His eco's looking fairly strong. He's obviously got the Navy lead. And with the Navy lead, he could take the stone and the gold in the middle, which to me doesn't look like there's as much as we've had in the past, but maybe it's just this version.
Isn't this literally the map by your own specifications that you wanted?
Well, so yes, but we didn't make any changes to the middle, and I never really look at it that much, but my gut tells me that there's not some stone and gold there.
Yes, I think you are correct. I think it looks like a little bit less.
So you thought I was correct and you still gave me shit.
Yep.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Keeps asking me back on. This is all your fault.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, the castle comes up for Nicov. Castle helps him secure the position. Nikov's church doesn't do too much, but it does kind of give Sebastian something else to worry about. I mean, 28 war galleys for Sebastian means that he will never have any big issues in water in Castle Age. And what does Nicov have to try and do? What's the ideal ship here? I guess it's fires for him, right?
That is what logic would tell us, at least in theory, with the fact that his opponent now has a war galley-centric navy.
Yeah.
What I'm kind of surprised about is why not just click up to Imperial Age as quickly as possible at this point? It feels like you're not going to be getting any truly important long-term damage done just by shooting at each other's docks. I mean, it's important for, like, positioning and whatnot, but
yeah,
it feels like Imperial Age and the speed in which you research that technology is going to be the most important, as Nicov looks like he has determined such.
Yeah, but big thing here is Armenians do not get fast fire ship. So if that's the way the balance works out, and the only option you have against war galleys is fast fire to counter it, the only other choice is to simply match the numbers and out galley them, which is pretty close to what water balance was anyways prior to the changes. So Nicov will want to get Cilician fleet, but he still needs his docks to be completed, and that's still been a big issue for him.
Well, and we still do have demos. They were... Not all of the nerfs to demos from Thalassocracy Cup were implemented into the live version of the game. It's now Sebastian clicking up too, and he's got a stronger eco.
Yeah.
But the demos are still going to be pretty darn good for Armenians. I mean, they were completely busted in the old water balance, so they're now going from busted to simply very good. So it's something that on all of these tight little waterways is going to be very important to keep track of.
Well, I can't help but think that Sebastian has been a bit better prepped with the changes that have happened here. Like, he researched 2 technologies in that university early to make big differences in these fights. He switched to fires with the speed and also the extra armor against the war galleys. And we have yet to see Nicov even get a university tech, right? Like, Nikov's getting fishing lines, which boosts the fishing eco. He's got 1 fishing ship. That's the last thing you need. You need ballistics, and you need careening, and you need whatever the other new ones are called, which I'll eventually memorize.
Construction.
Clinker construction?
Yep.
Clinker?
It really makes you want to say clinker construction.
Clinker. Why do I... Clinker, okay. All right, well, they're going to be clinking, all right.
It's clinker construction. It's actually a real thing.
I figured that they didn't just come up with that out of nowhere, so... Lovely position for Sebastian if he can complete this castle. And I think he can. He's shown patience here. Nikov's an imp. Nikov's getting chemistry. And he's also getting heavy warships now. I guess that is one upgrade that he can beat Sebastian to, but it's so tough. If this castle completes, where is he supposed to move around with this navy? It's just so annoying and awkward for him.
It really is. I mean, that's where this map control in the middle really does impact things. Look at the box formation T90. Did
around
you see
the
that?
fishing ship. Around the fishing ship. Our favorite fishing ship. We must protect it.
I'm glad you're as easily amused by these things as I am, because I thought that was delightful as well.
Yeah. Hopefully someone can make a meme with that or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, but that castle is insane. Heavy warship coming in now. 48 soon-to-be galleons here for Sebastian, guys. Nicov absolutely has his work cut out for him.
and Bengalis. in the really drawn-out games with Navy are maybe one of the best because that ship regen allows you to camp with your numbers and chip away at your opponents. It's so easy. And also they get shipwright as an option.
Yep.
Which is not the case for Armenians, obviously. So, oof, that box formation looks ridiculous for Sebastian. He needs to unbox there, but let's see if Nicov can turn it around. I would love to see something from Nicov on land to just disrupt Sebastian a little bit. I'd still love to see him get ballistics too, because he's missing, and yeah, he realizes.
Yeah. Now, I do totally agree that the Bengali HP regeneration bonus is super good in long, drawn-out fights for camping. That said, Armenians with extra range and the extra projectile being able to dictate engagements better is also one of the very best late-game naval bonuses.
Talk to me about...
This does feel like good on good here.
Talk to me about this ship. This used to be a unique tech for the Portuguese, but the Carrack back there, there's only one of them. But what is that ship supposed to be? Well, maybe we should hold that thought, actually, because we have a really big fight. Sebastian's hoping to force the issue. Sebastian will make trebs to push the shoreline. There's not many of these Carracks yet, but that is now a unit you can make out of the ships. There's Nicov with careening. So he's remembered.
Yeah, he's realizing that he needs those upgrades. You have Dry Dock coming in for Sebastian. That's one more Pierce Armor guy, so you can actually get +2 Pierce Armor on your ships now. So, I mean, that's a little bit different from what it used to be, but the trebs in the middle, I mean, this is nothing new here for Northern Crossing/Isles, is just controlling the middle, being able to treb your opponent's castles to protect their docks, and then shipwright on top of that feels all extremely good here for Sebastian.
Nicov just ran out of gold big time. He's shifting and fixing that, but running out of gold when you're already under pressure is really bad when you need more boats. And he's getting destroyed. That extra armor on the ships makes a big difference here. And the castle falls for Nicov, and pretty soon the docks.
Yeah, that is looking really rough here for Nicov, just now getting heavy plow, just not even with, or not having heavy plow, just now getting hand cart. And that's going to be really rough for wood efficiency in the long run, which matters a ton on water maps. And it feels like it's going to be extremely difficult for Nicov to ever be able to buy enough time to actually get to the ship numbers he needs.
Value destroyed stat, 17k for Sebastian, just 9k for Nicov, and the KD is pretty even. Pretty bad misclick there from Sebastian.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
And that's a castle full of villagers that is going to be providing a ton of extra arrows. It probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Out anyway.
Yep.
So Sebastian does get that 2-1 win in the series, and that's going to propel him to, what, 3-0 in the group.
3-0 in the group in sets. He's 1 win behind ACCM. Sebastian's played like a beast. It was a nice recovery here. Real quick, before we talk about the players, though, the Carrack, what is that unit supposed to be designed for here? Nicov made a lot of them. He made 27 of them, and I think it was only an imp, correct?
No, Carrack is just the Imperial Hulk. So it goes Hulk, War Hulk,
Okay.
Carrack.
Oh, I'm stupid. Okay.
A Carrack is a specific type of ship that was invented in Portugal. It refers to the sails, I believe. So just like a caravel is a specific type of ship, so is a Carrack. They used to be their unique tech, but now it is just the generic name for this unit.
For simpletons like me, that is rather confusing, right? To not have it just be like, you know, Elite Hulk or something like that. But I suppose it's similar to a war galley becoming a galleon, right?
Exactly, yes.
Well, this game was all about early Castle Age and how they played the Navy. I think the ecos were very close most of the game. Nicov did a great job with that. Nicov did a great job getting the relics. All that's great. But that fight in the back was sick, man. And his switch to fire ships to get the extra Pierce Armor tech and also get the speed tech and basically pincer Nicov, that snowballed into all the future water engagements. So well played to Sebastian there. That is, I mean, there's way more experience than I had in the new water. And this is also like, what, a week out from the patch? Maybe? So, and there's...
I mean, it shows good practice, good intuition, or both, because that looked like something that he had done many, many times, even though that is not mathematically possible, this new into it. But very impressed by Sebastian.